What's up, everybody? It's Stock Traders Talk Radio Show. We interview CEOs with stock spotlight picks to keep you in the know. With your host, STT, Chop, Hall, Nickel, Sipakia, Murray, Stock Sumo, and the easy on the eyes, also fire, pretty cow to keep the guys in line. Are the money back? So let's get down to brass tacks. Our objective is to make you greenbacks, aka stack the cash, and turn your portfolio green with our DD and research team. So without further ado, STT Radio, let's go.
Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio here on a beautiful Sunday night, February 26, 2012. I'm your host, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have Hoss.
What's going on tonight?
What you doing over there, kid?
I'm trying to get some work done in between checking on my Minnesota Wild score. They're down 2-1 going into the second, so I'm not feeling too hot right now, man.
Oh, no.
I might tear up during the show, so if you guys hear crying in the background, that's awesome.
Uh-oh. All right, we'll keep a listen for that later in the show. Also, joining us on tonight's program is QT Cal.
Hey there, Mike. How are ya?
I am good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Is there such a thing as a happy Sunday?
Oh, every day's a happy day if you make it that way.
All right.
Cheese factor. I'm turning the cheesy factor up right now.
Also, joining us on the program tonight is Stock Sumo.
Hey, what's up, gang?
What are you up to there, Mr. Sumo?
Oh, just recovering today. Went out skiing yesterday, a little bit sore today, using muscles that I haven't used before.
Uh-oh. That's not good. Skiing is a very dangerous sport, you know.
It's definitely not a walk in the park.
That's for sure. Okay, on tonight's show, we're going to be missing, obviously, Mr. Kopp, who is still in travel, and Sifakia, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll be back joining us tomorrow. Tonight, we have yet another Stock Spotlight for you. And doing tonight's Stock Spotlight is QT Cal. QT, take it away.
Thank you so much, Mike. Tonight's Stock Spotlight is EVDR, Inc., and the ticker symbol for that is E, V as in Victor, D as in David, R as in Radio, EVDR. The website is evdrcorp.com. It is an OTC Pink Current, I believe, just recently. So we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight with EVDR Inc. that has come up probably just within the last week or so, or the last few weeks. I did receive some updated information on the AS, OS, and float. It seems like there was a recent press release that came out to also talk about that the authorized share structure has not changed. It is still 988 million shares. The float was estimated to be around 365 million, and the OS, or outstanding shares, are around 880 million, and that was reported on OTCmarkets.com. So to give a little background on the company, EVDR Inc. has its only subsidiary, which was or is still, I believe, ASCC. And ASCC is Avtar Singh Construction Company, Ltd. What this company does is it executes civil engineering projects in India. It looks to be heavily connected with strong ties to the provincial and central government of India, the National Highway Authority of India, and it was funded by projects from World Bank. ASCC owns a total of 3 different companies which run into various fields. Those fields were roads and highways, real estate, and leasing and financing. The companies, they said that the combined revenues for these companies under ASCC was in the range of $7 million US. And so they were also located in Chandigarh. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. So anywho, that is kind of a background on ASCC, but there has been a lot of things that have been going on with this company. It seems that most recently there have been a slew of press releases in regards to the relationship of ASCC under the primary company EVDR, or EVDR Inc. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of that news that we just saw over the last month. If you go to otcmarkets.com, the first press release you'll see most recently is January 13th, 2012. This press release talks about that management announces that Avtar Singh Construction will be sold to an Indian group and provided guidance into the future of the company. That was the details of the PR. EVDR management is of the opinion that this is a material event that requires an announcement to its followers. It said that an unnamed Indian business group had shown interest in the profitable venture that is the India-based Avtar Singh Construction. The management of EVDR was currently proceeding with the sale of the entity. It said that the sale would finalize shortly, and the stock issued to Avtar Singh Construction, or better known as ASCC, would go back into the Treasury and remain there reserved for the potential future acquisitions. It said that EVDR management believed that ASCC intends to file and list with the Delhi, India market. So that's the first we're hearing of this potential sale of its subsidiary ASCC. It also stated that further was that they were looking into North American markets to continue to become increasing, or that they were going to look into an opportunity with the profit from this sale to shift the company focus and start seeking a more suitable merger candidate. It also said that the management launched search for a suitable merger candidate in North America to cater to the markets and the investors' interests. So that was the first PR that we saw on January 13th, outlining these details. Next, I believe it was probably a week later, on January 20th, it talks about EVDR and forward guidance. So if we look at that, it starts to then talk about a share buyback plan from June 2011. It said that the task had taken longer than anticipated to commence, and it appears that the company efforts were being acknowledged by the market forces. They were talking a little bit about the momentum of the stock and the business projections for 2012. The management was aware of certain critics, and needless to say, management is equally frustrated with EVDR share price and the valuation in light of massive contracts with its operating subsidiary, ASCC. They also talk about the authorized share structure. That's why I wanted to make sure that in our intro that we reflected what was stated in this PR, that the authorized share count remained undisturbed at 988 million shares. The company also stated that it estimates the float was approximately 365 million. So it wanted to seek professional investment advice, or it says that shareholders should seek professional investment advice rather than relying upon websites with no contact information and posters on various message boards which clearly have a hidden agenda. That's what was in the PR. So that's coming straight from the PR. Moreover, that the management was aware that Nevada state shows that EVDR was delinquent, and it said that the delinquency stemmed from the annual fees or fee dues, and the delinquency would be addressed shortly with the appointment of new officers and directors. It talks about on or about January 13th that the management announced that its plans to sell the assets of its Indian construction subsidiary, ASCC, was still on, and that they were wanting to make sure that the company was not going to be branded as a shell, and that management was aware of the time constraints and has several candidates in its sight ranging from an IT to mechanical companies. These are operating entities with assets and revenues, it states, in the several million-dollar ranges. So this is all the recent information in regards to what's been going on, to the activities of the company. we go into, I believe there's 2 more press releases that were announced as of recent, and I want to focus on those as well. The one stated for January 23rd, it says that EVDR addresses OTC markets icon rank. So this is where they start to talk about the current operating subsidiary SCC and their scheduling to be liquidated of their assets or disposed of their assets. So it says that soon there's a transaction that will be completed. New management intends to file a new adequate disclosure document with a legal opinion together with the new operating subsidiary, which should address the OTC markets rank. In other company updates, it says that the company is currently in its final stages of due diligence, and they're looking for a suitable merger candidate. EVDR management regrets any temporary inconveniences the OTC markets ranking and opinion has caused to its followers, and they still had expressed that more updates would follow as events unfold and these mergers and asset sale tasks solidify further. Okay, so that leads us to the very last press release, which comes just, I believe, a few days ago on February 23rd. It states that their OTC Pink current information, or that they are current in their tier ranking. So it says EVDR is classified as a distressed company under court supervision in the past, but the new adequate disclosure outlines all the positive strides this company has made thus far to become more transparent with pink sheets. And then it says that EVDR invites its followers to read the filed document to get a better understanding of its business model, and then a legal opinion letter had also been filed with pink sheets for readers to review as well. The company hopes that the filings will give the public sufficient information and insight into company business as a valid and viable business model. So these are the recent PRs all the way from January 20th to updating the stockholders of the events of the company through February 23rd. So we see there's a lot of activity going on. Furthermore, I just wanted to look into some of the statements that have been filed on OTC markets in regards to its initial company information and disclosure statement. This was published on February 15th, and it was to serve for the period ending on September 30th, 2011. So if we take a closer look at this document, we may be able to dissect a little bit more of what's been going on or the happenings of the company in regards to its relationship with ASCC, or better known as Avtar Singh Construction Company, Ltd. So looking at this document, I wanted to focus on page 12 of the document. Page 12, well, let me just backtrack a little bit. They're looking at selling off assets of ASCC. We're not sure what the relationship or what happened with the relationship, but in regards to its assets, you could see that there's not too much disclosed in regards to financials, the statements within this document. Some of, I of course would like to know how much assets are actually in ASCC, but to get a better detailed idea of what this company has, you can look at page 12 of the disclosure statement. It talks about ASCC, the construction company, employs ultra-modern and high-performance machinery and equipment. It talks about the company owning an army of hot mix plants, wet mix plants, batching plants, heavy-duty excavators, motor graders, paver finishers, tandem vibratory rollers, tippers, concrete mixers, cranes, tankers, trucks. So it goes on and on about all the equipment that they handle, the technical workshop that they have. A lot of, of course, that would be enticing for assets. And it also talks about production. It says the company operates a wide array of machines ranging from modern to the simplest that are deployed at various sites to expedite the process of quality construction as follows: rotary rigs, excavators, batching plant, concrete pumps, transit mixers, cableway with head mast, tower cranes, crawler cranes, derrick cranes, mobile cranes, crushers, pre-stressing equipment. So it goes on and on about the equipment. So what we see here is a little bit more detail of what this company potentially owns, what they have, and that might give us a little bit more information into the assets that the company may have in which EVDR will be selling off. So then, with looking at that, I wanted to get more into the plan of operation. On page 17, of the disclosure statement, it talks a little bit more in detail about the relationship with ASCC. We see that there's been an erosion of that relationship. So looking at this, it says we are expecting our board of directors to decide our future regarding our relationship with the current subsidiary ASCC. Again, that's Avtar Singh Construction Company. Whether this subsidiary will remain as part of EVDR or whether the company will use court order to push this subsidiary out. So we see that there's a lot of tension in this relationship. While this decision is to be made within a few weeks of publishing this report, and remember, this report was published on February 15th, we also continue our work to raise shareholder value, and we have located additional merger candidates. So as we've seen in the press releases, they are looking at these candidates. They're getting serious about the merger, but we do see that this relationship between ASCC and EVDR is strange. Okay, so just want everybody to understand that you can get a little bit more detail when you go into these disclosure statements. It says, as the North American markets continue to favor domestic investments, they have located a candidate who operates in the U.S. healthcare industry. So they're focusing on this industry in regards to this merger. We believe we have a better chance to attract the investor public towards such domestic investment. So what they're stating is their shift in business is to go from overseas to what they currently were doing with ASCC in regards to India and the infrastructure in this construction company. Once they figure this or sever this relationship and sell off assets, then they're going to be focused on North American markets, to continue it to be favorable for domestic investments as well as to benefit shareholders. And it looks like they're focusing on U.S. healthcare as the industry that they're going after. As of the time of this document, the preliminary due diligence on the candidate is well underway. However, there are no definitive agreements signed. The merger documents and share exchange agreements are expected to sign within several weeks of this document. Following the merger with the aforementioned U.S. company, we expect our present management to step down and be replaced by the representatives from the North American venture. Okay, so that's even more disclosure in regards to what's going on behind the scenes. Although we intend to scrutinize the management of a prospective target business in connection with our evaluation of a business combination with the target business, our assessment of management may be incorrect. We cannot assure that the incoming North American subsidiary will be able to raise the company value according to our expectations. Okay, so they're just laying out some, discretionary terms there. They're also talking about the direction that they want to take the business. The last thing I wanted to focus on that may give everybody here a little bit more in-depth information in regards to what's going on right now is on page 20. Okay, so if we go down to page 20, we see the risks related to the business. And, with the OTC market and with the pink market, we always see a lot of risks involved. I mean, these are all the time, most of the time we see companies that are startup, we see a lot of good ideas, and there's a lot of other factors that kind of relate into whether or not the business will succeed or fail. So they're talking about the risks here related to the business. So you see it says with each on or offshore reverse takeover as the one that brought ASCC into EVDR Inc., there may be a danger of disagreements and miscommunication between the majority stakeholders and the management as to the direction of the company. Such events occurred between EVDR Inc. and our subsidiary ASCC. Okay, so you can see that they're clearly being honest in regards to that relationship. It says ASCC failed to deliver adequate financial reports for the Q3 2011 period ending September 30th, 2011, and we do not expect to receive company financial reports for the period ending December 31st, 2011 as well. Just by that statement alone, we see that there is a disconnect and an erosion of this business deal in regards to ASCC and it being the subsidiary of EVDR. So with no Q3 reports or financial reports and nothing that they can expect for year-end 2011, there is definitely something going on here. So that could have very well been, the final straw and the reason why the company decided to take it in the direction that they're going right now currently. So it says the current status of the relationship between EVDR and its subsidiary, ASCC can be described as eroded. As such, EVDR is trying to secure the resignation of the representatives of ASCC from the board of EVDR. However, ASCC is unresponsive to these requests, and the board may opt out to force ASCC representatives from the board using court order to remove the subsidiary and move on with the company business, aka upcoming merger with the new North American subsidiary. So it looks like they have, if we just want to assess everything right now, there is a potential merger that looks to be wanting to move forward. They had stated in this disclosure that they were leaning towards a U.S. healthcare company. Sounds promising currently. It also looks to appear that they're having some issues in regards to the current state of the relationship with ASCC, wanting to get out of that relationship and moving forward with the merger. So that gives me a little bit more information when you dig deeper into this disclosure statement. Where they are now, we look at the press releases that we currently have. It seems to be positive. It seems to be moving in the right direction. But, also we're looking at this as a speculative play. We're looking at the information that we have, the lack of financials that we, don't have in regards to what ASCC did not produce to EVDR, which could have then spiraled this into the situation that it is in today to take the company in this direction. But we also want to be very, we want to let everybody know that we're looking at this. We're seeing a lot of great volume coming into this play. Friday's trading was awesome. Sometimes those things, when you see the trading happening, you can say, okay, well, maybe the merger is moving forward. Maybe this stuff is a, precursor to what is going to be happening, and the price moving, the stock moving, the volume's huge. So again, just want to throw all the information out there to everybody that's listening, to look at this and to look at every aspect of it, its current situation and what it wants to do in the near future here. Also, the pink current status, you see all of these documents and you could say to yourself, wow, they really are making an effort to move forward. They're providing the information that's necessary to get current so that they could be more appealing to the merger candidate that they have in mind. So, we just have to look at all aspects of it, and that's pretty much what I have in regards to the information on EVDR. I know that someone may be helping me out with the chart. Stuximo?
Hey, all right. Well, a couple things that, I'm looking at are the RSI, which is at 90 right now, so that's pretty overbought. There's not much more room for that to go up. In the past, it got there before, and it kind of stalled out and then went down. But really, to get a good, clear picture at the chart, you have to look back at it a couple of years, because the next resistance point, if you go back a couple of years, looks to be 007-ish. So right now it's in a blue sky mode, and if the volume can continue like we saw on Friday, traded over 260 million shares. If it could trade some similar volume, you could see the run to continue. The RSI is looking a little bit overbought though. It has gotten above that 90 before in the past, like back in 2010, March, it got above that 90, and you saw a breakout and it hit 012. So, there is a lot of room if it can pass that 007. That would probably be the next resistance, would be that 012.
Okay, very good. Stock Sumo.
Great job, guys. Thanks.
QT Cal on the Stock Spotlight tonight. Very well done. Okay, we're going to take a small commercial break here, and we'll be back with the top 10 buzzing on iHub. That's right, the top 10 buzzing on iHub, right after these words.
And now, a quick word from thepennyvin.com. What does one penny say to the other penny? Let's get together and make some sense. Are you tired of losing your hard-earned pennies? Be sure to visit thepennyvin.com and download our iPhone app, where delivery of our stock plays right into your iPhone instantly. The time to start making money is now. Please be advised that you may make use of the money and that thepennypin.com will not be held liable.
Stock Sumo, where we outweigh the competition, pushing and shoving our way to extreme profit in the penny stock arena. Go to StockSumo.com today to sign up for our free alerts via email or text message. StockSumo.com, where the gains are groundbreaking. Don't just take our word for it. Find out firsthand by heading over to StockSumo.com, home of the real heavy hitters.
Welcome back to Stock Traders Talk Radio. I'm your host, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have QT Cal, Stock Sumo, and Haas. Great job on the Stock Spotlight there, QT.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you, Mike.
Very good. It's always tough to, present due diligence when you're not exactly sure what's going on with the company. Obviously, they got, they're in talks with a few different companies to bring in as they sell their current assets and stuff. But, you just never know. So
True, exactly.
Good job. Good stuff.
Thank you. Thanks for the chart, Stock Sumo.
Sumo.
Have we
No
gotten
problem.
rid of the radio jitters yet there, QT?
Oh, I think I'm almost there.
Almost there.
Almost.
Don't forget, it's all, what is it, your third night doing, well, it's only your second night doing it by yourself, correct?
True, yes. So.
Gonna be honest with you, I like Amy presenting this better than Cop.
You like
Uh-oh, don't say that.
Sorry, I had to say it because he's not here.
I'm the kick Cop to the curb.
Oh, no. Everything always flows better when he's here. But thanks, Haas. That's a sweet compliment.
Don't forget, coming up tomorrow night, we have a exclusive CEO interview for you. Ticker shall remain quiet until then. Also, here at Stock Traders Talk Radio, we are trying a new method tonight. We're hoping that we come across a lot clearer than we have been in recent shows. How does it sound on your end, guys?
I think it sounds pretty good.
I love the improvement.
It sounds great from over here, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to cut up the show tonight, and we'll listen back to it and make sure everything came through clear like it's supposed to.
Nice.
All right, now let's move on to the top 10 buzzing on iHub as of this weekend. Starting us off tonight, we're going to kick it over to Stock Sumo.
Hey, just so people know, these aren't something that's like thought up of in advance. Just my little disclaimer out there. I don't have any positions in these stocks that we mentioned. It's something that we put together here at the last minute. We look and see what's buzzing in the buzz cloud, and take a gander and whatever we think is valid to mention, we bring it up. So first off is CAGR, California Grapes International Inc., and it closed up 0006. That's 40% on 3.9 million shares on Friday, and it closed at 0021. To go to the website, it's CA Grapes. That's California Grapes, CAGrapes.com. And the most recent news they had was February 13th when they announced that they went pink current. The next one up is ticker symbol ALZM. That's Alizo Medical Holdings, Inc., and their website is ALLEZOE.com, Alizo.com, and it closed at its high a day, up 0055. It closed at 0175 for a gain of 45.83% on 16.8 million shares. And a little side note, the 3-month average volume is 9 million shares, so it's traded some pretty good volume on Friday. The next three...
A little sumo on that one, a little side note on that. I do own shares of that one.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that's good for you. I love that one. I know you've mentioned that one before. That's been good to you, huh?
Just a little disclaimer. Basically, any stock that starts with an A, there's a pretty good chance that Mike may own that.
Come on now, you got to admit, my A theory makes me look like a genius lately.
I've seen you make some pretty good money on A stocks, buddy. I'm not arguing with your A theory in the slightest.
ATRN.
That was a good one.
ANTS.
40 bagger.
Yeah. You guys laugh. Laugh all you want.
Well, the next three, I'm going to bunch them together for a reason. They're all kind of in the same sector, and these type of plays kind of run together a lot. I've been in them both before, and they've done well, and they run kind of in tangent. And I noticed Obama talking the other day about how they want to focus on, other alternative sources of energy, whether it be ethanol and the different fuels, natural gas, the other wind, solar, those types of things. So, that with the price of gas going up, and we're going to be approaching the driving season soon, these type of stocks, everybody starts buzzing about them, and they start to get a lot of volume, and they start to run. So the first one up is AFPW. That's Aluma Fuel Power Inc., and you can go to their website at alumafuelpowerinc.com, and it closed up 23% at 0016, traded 44 million shares. The other one is BIOF, and to go to their website, it's bfenergy.com, and Biofuel Energy Corp is a NASDAQ, and it closed up 20% at 79.4 cents, and it traded 8.7 million shares, and the 3-month average volume is 1.45 million. So a lot of volume there. PEIX is the next one. That's Pacific Ethanol Inc. And to go to their website, it's pacificethanol.net. It's another NASDAQ play, and it closed up 27.52% at $1.39, and its volume was 28 million shares, and the 3-month average is 6.1 million shares. So you definitely want to keep those ones on your radar.
Okay, Haas.
Well, Mike, I was waiting for you to butt in there.
It was
the house. You gotta transfer this over, don't you?
No, I thought you two were a team, coherent.
We're a team. I just figured it'd be a little bit smoother if you BS'd a little bit in between his 5 and my 5.
My fault. I was on mute waiting for you to take over.
Okay, I was on mute waiting for you.
We could talk about what I was cooking for dinner earlier. Oh man, I made this.
No.
Stop that! I saw that picture on Facebook. That looked good, man.
Oh yeah.
That looked good. That barbecue.
STT says we don't talk about it. It's okay. He's just jealous because he's not as good of a cook as me.
There we go. That's exactly it. All right, Haas, you're up.
All right. Well, again, in no particular order and no favoritism to any particular stock on iHub, I just kind of picked these based on specific hype that they've had over the last few months or currently, and what the chart's been doing and different types of news that's been upcoming. I don't hold any of these stocks, and I don't plan to in the near future. And none of them start with an A, so Mike probably doesn't hold any of these stocks either. The first one on my list, we've actually had them on the show and talked about them a few times. Pervisip Corp, VoIP Communication Services Company, ticker PVSP, traded 900,000 in volume on Friday, plus 9.42%, finished at 3.95 cents. The day's trading range was 3.2 cents. 4.2 cents. And the reason I bring this up is because since we had them on the show, they've had some pretty good press releases. February 17th, G3 Connect to open a Hong Kong office in 2012. So they're already hinting at, their international services, international service company. February 21st, Parvacip receives $4.8 million debt cancellation. I think they announced slightly before that they were going to cancel, up to 13, 14 million in debt. And that 4.8 million is the first third of that debt, which is owed to secured lenders. February 22nd, Form 4 of 200,000 shares, a direct buy at 4.9 cents by the CEO himself. February 23rd, another Form 4, another insider buy, 200,000 shares at 4.9 cents. And that's from the CIO, Mark Richards, who we had on the show. So we have some insiders accumulating shares at higher prices than it's currently trading at, which is really nice to see. And the chart keeps making higher highs and lower lows off that 1 cent bottom that we saw in late 2011. And the chart's looking pretty good to continue that. So I would look for a bottom here around this, 3 cent area if you're looking to accumulate more shares. And I expect some pretty good news going into the future here in 2012 for Parvacip. So one to keep an eye on. Moving down the list, number 2 on my list, we've also profiled this stock on the show, Surgeline International, ticker SGLN, formerly China Nouveau Solar, CNUV. Again, currently it's SGLN. They recently had their name ticker change. Traded 6.5 million in volume on Friday, finished plus 11.11%. Currently trading at 0.001. Trading range on Friday was 009 to 001. Again, I already mentioned that it was formerly CNUV, and basically they have their own label of high-quality medical and surgical products, and they offer them at discount prices to what's currently on the market. Pretty big share structure. Authorized share count of 6.5 billion. Outstanding share structure of 5.6 billion. But the key thing there is insiders and strategic partners own about 80% of that. So that brings the float down to 1.5 billion. And I think when we profiled that on the show, I think even more of that is held in pretty tight hands, and I think the float's more close to about $1 billion or less even. And, they got some key distribution agreements, key suppliers, and I expect them to make some pretty nice deals throughout 2012, basically because they offer the highest quality, surgical equipment at cheaper prices than anybody else. So I expect some pretty good news going into the future here in 2012. And I think it's mentioned that they're looking at tens of millions in revenues by the end of 2012. Just another note there. And as far as the chart goes, it's kind of sitting at that bottom that CNUV was always sitting at, that 0.001 area. Shortly after they did their name change and stuff, it opened up. I think it gapped from 0.001 area to 0.003 or whatever, and it's kind of just worked its way back down to this 0.001 area. So if you're looking for a starter position or something like that, I'm not going to say buy, but I would get your eyes on it sooner rather than later, especially as 2012 progresses and they start rolling out with some news on key revenues coming into the company. Moving down my list, number 3 on my list, Micro Imaging Technology, ticker MMTC. Traded 2.5 million in volume on Friday, finished minus 16.67%, finished at a price of 0.003 with a trading range of 0.003 to 0.0036. Again, with this company, we mentioned them on the show, and I think we did a CEO interview way back in November 2011 or something. So if you want to go listen to that, I recommend you do that because it's a pretty cool product. And coming from a nutrition science background, I think it's a really cool product as well. Basically, they have a product, MIT1000, for different types of bacterial identification in food. So, it can identify the main bacterial contaminants We've all heard about, E. coli scares in salad and, the whole Taco Bell incident a little while ago. I think recently we've had some outbreaks in cantaloupe and things like that. Well, basically this product is on the market to hopefully prevent that food from getting to those stores and getting on your table and, people getting sick. So we're kind of cutting that off at the source. And basically there's three main types of bacteria that can cause contamination in foods: Listeria, E. coli, and Salmonella. This product has already been approved for the identification of the different types of Listeria that might, act as a certain contaminant in food, and they are waiting on approval for their E. coli and Salmonella procedures to be approved by the key agencies before they can actually market it for those bacterial identifications. So we're waiting on news there related to the E. coli and Salmonella approval. And once they get approval for that, then they'll be able to market this product 100 times more than they currently can with just the Listeria approval. So I would look for that news in the near future based on, different types of communications that the company has put out in the past. And when that news hits, I personally would expect the share price to rebound quite a bit. I know the company's, been diluting a little bit, hopefully strategically, but the chart kind of broke down there, and it's sitting at a 0.003 right now, and I don't know how much lower it's going to go, but it's just one to put your eyes on right now as that E. coli and Salmonella news approaches. Moving down my list, number 4 on my list, we've talked about this company a couple times, Gold Coast Mining Corp, ticker GDSM. And I'm bringing this one up again because we still have a massive amount of trading volume coming into this stock. Traded 36.4 million in volume on Friday, finished plus 33.33%, finished at 2 cents on the dot. The day's trading range was 0.0145 to 0.0227. So we jumped over that 2 cent hump. I think we initially profiled this company at 0.001 on the show. Kind of wish I'd have bought about 20 million shares at that price myself, but unfortunately we tend to watch these big runners more often than we participate in them.
That is absolutely correct, by the way. 001.
Yeah.
We spotlighted that stock, and we had it as a 4-2 buy hold, actually. 4 people said buy, 2 people said hold.
Well, the weird thing about it is at that time, the volume wasn't even close to what it is up here in this 2 cent range. We had maybe, a few million in volume a day. Every once in a while we'd get a big volume day there, and, everybody's just kind of like, we got time to get in, and then it just started going, and it just didn't stop.
Mm-hmm. And the next day after the spotlight, it was only up 0011.
I know.
Wow.
And it's tough, once it starts getting in that, 003, 004 range, then you're like, do I chase?
Yeah, you're almost afraid to jump in.
Like, if I jump in now, it might dump. There's no real, significant news out right now. I don't know what to do, and you end up just watching it. Then it breaks that penny mark, and it gets a life of its own, because once you break that penny mark, you get a whole new set of investors.
Yep, absolutely crazy, that thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so, okay. Finishing up with that, they recently put out the news on their recent joint venture on some gold claims with Western Sierra Mining. And in that press release, I've mentioned this on a couple of shows, we should get an 8K regarding the financial arrangements and exact structure of that joint venture. I think it's a 50-50 split with Western Sierra. And the main reason I want to bring this one up is because, what we just talked about, once it breaks that penny mark, especially with these, it's gold, man. Especially with these gold companies, these things just tend to get a life of their own, and the volume increases dramatically, and you just get a whole new set of eyes on this. And with GDSM, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but we've all seen the CAT-X-like runs. Once these gold companies, even when they don't have any gold, and they're just organizing these joint ventures in the background, and they haven't even started digging yet, and they don't really have that many assets. These things can really, really run. And when you have 36.4 million volume, between 1.5 cents and 2.3 cents on a Friday on no news, when we were originally talking about this, and the way in the sub-penny range, with even smaller volume. You know, there's something bigger brewing. There's definitely some pretty big money coming into this from who knows who. But just want to keep your eye on, and it's just fun to watch. All right, and the last one on my list, UCPA. I actually just came across this about 10 minutes into our show tonight as I was searching for a fifth stock to talk about. United Communications Partners, Inc.
Nice.
And I really respect the I have named Stervc, STERVC, and he presents some pretty solid DD, and he's been in some big runners in the past, and he's got some connections to where he can get some pretty good information. And this stock traded 103 million volume on Friday, plus 175%. One of the key reasons that I'm profiling it, big money coming in, big gain, finished at 0.0011. Trading range on Friday was 0004 to 0013. Basically, it's just an advertising company, different advertising arrangements overseas. And STRC put up some high-quality DD on some foreign press releases. So the company itself hasn't really put these out on, like, you won't see it on iHub or anything like that, but he's translated it for us. And if you go to the iHub page for UCPA, and in the sticky posts, he posts some information on the press releases. Let me just read some of these key points from the press releases that he's translated here. Employees have grown from 19 to now 40 employees recently. The company won 3 contracts with Unibet, of which 2 are very large contracts. In total, the company has received 12 new customers within the existing search and advertising. The company was picking up new customers weekly. The company's CEO, Nicholas Froberg, commented that it was great that we, even though it's tough times, have been able to create many new jobs. 3 Crowns is owned by publicly traded United Communications Partners, which had sales of SEK, that's a foreign currency, must be Swedish, sales of SEK 126 million last year, and that translates to about $20 million US. So significant revenues here by the looks of it. We have 2 billion authorized share count, 1.6 billion outstanding share count, and a float of 600 million. And, you know, he gives some calculations there based on those revenues and some different potential valuations for the share price. So I suggest you go take a look at those too. And let's see here. There was something else related to that Unibet group who UCPA is working with. Let's see here. I'll just skip over that. That's fine. But I suggest you go look at that board. It looks like it's, you know, coming off the bottom. The share price has trickled down quite a bit since about April 2011. And it might have hit a bottom here in that trip zero range. And with the big volume coming in on Friday, you know, 100 million volume, we're talking about, you know, pretty close to $100,000 coming into the stock on that news. This one might just be heating up. So it's one to put your eyes on right now, especially with those big revenues. This is literally the first time I've came across this company, and I'm still doing my DD. So I apologize if that was a really crappy presentation of the company. But put your eyes on it and do some DD maybe. That's all I got tonight, boys and girls.
Sounds good. Sounds real good, as a matter of fact.
Hey.
Okay, now,
Excellent.
we have about 10 minutes left in the show. And I want to cover our expansion for next week. Is everybody ready to help me out doing this?
Sure.
Right on.
Okay.
Of course.
I don't know if I know everything, but I'm sure we can play off each other a little bit.
All right.
We can just make stuff up if all else fails.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's always good. We'll see how this works out.
We're bringing Warren Buffett on the show next week.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
That was a joke, people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Joking.
I can do a mean Warren Buffett voice, though.
All right.
Serious. I'm not joking. I can do it.
Oh, Huss.
I can almost do it as well as I can cat daddy. And Amy knows how well I can cat daddy.
All right.
Pretty good.
All right. Let's get started here. Come on.
Excellent.
Okay. Next Monday, Stock Traders Talk Radio is splitting up the crew. We are going to have a morning show and our late show. Our morning show will commence at 9 a.m., half-hour pre-market, till 10 a.m., unless they want to go longer. It's up to them. So that's a half-hour into market. So we'll have a pre-market and a half-hour into market. They're just going to be here winging it. I mean, there's no set format for them. What they'll be doing is just taking the news, the buzz, everything, and just throwing it out there over the radio for you to hear.
Hey, Mike, can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about Sumo's cooking if we do the morning show together?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. Yeah, you throw me way off base when you go out in left field like that on me.
That's the point.
Okay. Now, the host of the show will be Stock Sumo.
Hey.
Except for when I'm available. And I will host my own show. He will be a co-host at that point. This Monday, I will be available to host the kickoff show of this. That will break the team up to evenings will be myself, STT, QT Cal, Cop, and Sifakia. That's Sunday through Thursday. Monday through Friday on the morning show will consist of Stock Sumo, Hoss, me when available, Sifakia when available, QT when available, and Cop when available. So basically you'll have 2 people in the morning and the 4 of us in the evening. Now we're hoping to have it so that, nights that Sumo or Haas are available, they'll come on the show also at night. We'll get that all mixed going. But for now, that's the plan. That's going to take place next Monday. It will be on a different link, and we will post a new link to the morning show. I know that's a pain in the neck, and I've argued and I just can't win this battle, so I gave in finally. So we're looking forward to that. Sumo, any thoughts on what you'll be doing exactly?
We'll probably be scanning what's, coming out with news in the morning and seeing the different hot press releases that are out, anything that's got some big news we might talk about, or anything that might have some pre-market volume, or maybe some NASDAQ plays that might be doing well pre-market.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, instead of, profiling stocks after the fact, a day of trading after huge news or something like that, maybe we can get some big news out there so people can get their eyes on it and maybe make a trade on that news or something.
And we also do plan on taking phone calls. We want to hear from the investors themselves what they're looking at that day.
Oh, for sure.
So definitely don't be gun shy on us. Call us in the morning show and let us know what you're looking at for the day. We can look into it, maybe get a couple of chart reads out of Sumo. Sifakia, if he's available, is great at chart reading off the fly there. It should be a lot of fun, I think. I mean, it gives us a nice little prelude to what's going on for the day. We can recap the morning show at night, see how they made out. So it should be real exciting. I'm looking forward to it next Monday.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Very exciting stuff, guys.
QT, you ever going to make the morning show, you think?
Wait, what time does it start?
9 a.m.
Whoa.
That's Eastern, right?
That is Eastern Standard Time.
Sure. You know what? I could start my coffee early here on the West Coast and get on there. No, I definitely will make a point to get up earlier.
I don't know if I've ever heard Amy talk that early in the morning. I don't know. She might be a grouch. I don't know if we can handle it.
Serious grouch.
Well, you see her hit the boards at like 11. Good morning, guys.
It still is morning here. I'm technically correct if we're talking Pacific. I know. The whole world revolves around the East Coast. I've been told that.
It does, kind of, just so you know.
trading world, all of it, right?
Yep. So that's our plan here. And look for bigger and better things coming real soon. Real soon on that. Guys, great job tonight, QT. Very well done.
Excellent.
Great job, guys.
Very well done.
Enjoyed the show.
We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, we have an exclusive CEO interview tomorrow night. We also have one coming up Wednesday, right? Haas, Wednesday?
Yes, it is Wednesday.
Wednesday. So Monday and Wednesday this week, we have CEOs booked and scheduled to come on the show. Once again, you're listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. From all of us here to all of you out there, we hope every trade you make goes green. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is Stock Traders Talk Radio, and we are out. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.